out there. It is another cool Wednesday evening out here in the federal capital, and it is as usual my pleasure to welcome you to News Extra, the news package that comes with the extra touch. Tonight there is so much news to bring to you, ranging from decisions at the Federal Executive Council, resolutions at the National Assembly, updates on COVID-19 and other health issues, the issue of food, especially now and post-COVID-19, is a big issue. Tonight we have quite a bit on food production. Also tonight there are some interesting human angle stories. Remember Zainab Aliu from Kano? We have an update on what she has been up to since escaping the hangman's noose in Saudi. Do you want to work in the Federal Road Safety Corps? Well, we have something about the Corps that will interest you. If you are in Lagos and in a hurry, don't go near Apapa Port. The gridlock is back. We will show you that as well, plus much more. Now, let me not go on and on. It's best if we get started, as the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Marbuba, and this is News Extra. You're welcome. And we'll start with the usual, which is FEC. The Federal Executive Council has directed the Ministries of Petroleum Resources as well as Mines and Steel Development to develop effective strategies towards enhancing, stimulating and encouraging local production of bitumen in the country. This followed a policy memorandum initiated by President Muhammadu Buhari on the source of bitumen used in roads construction and its cost. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola announced this while briefing a journalist after the weekly meeting of the council. And State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that council also approved the establishment of Nigerian Youth Investment Fund.
The policy memorandum by President Muhammadu Buhari, who presided over the meeting, revealed that a significant amount of the bitumen used in roads construction in Nigeria is imported and therefore creating jobs abroad. This, the council resolved, cannot continue, hence the directive to the relevant ministries to encourage local production of the commodity.
This will of course help to further diversify the economy, open another subsector of the extractive and hydrocarbon industry for local opportunities. We see a demand of 500,000 metric tons of bitumen locally per annum. So we encourage all of those who can manufacture and produce bitumen locally to tap into this demand. We see the opportunity for thousands of job creation directly if this is done, and government intends to give as much encouragement and support to all those who take up this opportunity.
The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, also secured the approval of the Council for the revision of a contract for the supply and installation of 3 large-size cargo scanners for ONE, Port Harcourt and Tinkan Island ports at $18.12 million and 3.25 billion naira for both foreign as well as local components. This is to hasten inspection of containers by the Nigerian Customs Service.
The scanners are designed to aid effective revenue collection with features that will screen for narcotics, weapons, undeclared items and radioactive materials. They can also detect arms and ammunition, thus curtailing illegal importation and possession of arms and light weapons in Nigeria.
The Nigeria Customs Service has also been given the go-ahead to execute a 280.9 million naira contract for the design, construction and supply of 5 ballistic riverine assault boats as well as 5 other patrol boats.
The Nigerian Customs Service needs these boats to enhance its operational efficiency and combat smuggling activities on our waterways. This will also significantly boost revenue collection and other core duties of maritime units of the Nigerian Customs Service.
Also approved by the Federal Executive Council is the establishment of the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund to the tune of 75 billion naira. The fund will shelter specifically for Nigerian youth within the stipulated age band of between 18 and 35 years.
For the first time, the country will have a youth bank to create a special window for assessing funds, credit facilities, and financing on the part of our youth that will help to fund their ideas, innovation, and also support their enterprise.
At the start of the meeting, 17th in its series for the year 2020, a moment of silence was observed by the council members in honor of the late elder statesman Ismaila Issa Funtua. Widely regarded as a nationalist as well as an international media figure, Malam Issa Funtua, who died at the age of 78, was a member of the Federal Executive Council in 1983. He served as the Shehu Shagari administration's Minister of Water Resources. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari will on Thursday depart for Bamako, Republic of Mali, on a one-day visit following briefing by former President Goodluck Jonathan, who is the ECOWAS Special Envoy to the country. A statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says Nigerian President and some ECOWAS leaders, led by the Chairman of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the sub-region organization, President Issoufou Mahamadou of Niger Republic, agreed to meet in Mali for further consultations towards finding a political solution to the crisis in the country. Host President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta and President Macky Sall of Senegal, Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, and Alassane Ouattara of Côte d'Ivoire are expected to participate in the Bamako meeting. The rains are here and the need for shelter becomes even more significant. In this report, Fisayo Ogunfuyi reviews the nation's efforts at providing housing infrastructure. He says there is a new door of possibilities, window of opportunity with no ceiling for optimism. Let's hear him.
Many say the economic impact and productivity of any growing nation is inextricably linked to the fundamental need for a stable form of shelter. In 1943, Abraham Maslow put shelter in the very first category of his much acclaimed theory on the hierarchy of needs, putting it alongside breathing, food, and water. Not much has changed since then as humans continue to populate the planet, and this need is more poignantly felt here in Nigeria with our ever-increasing population. That explains significantly why government is investing directly or indirectly in projects such as this. The nation's need in this sector is huge and daunting, especially as plans for social housing over the years seem to have been warehoused rather than nurtured.
We are creating a program which, if we successfully implement, becomes the model for annual national housing intervention.
The government is doing the best for us, you see, so that we as indigenous contractors can now showcase what we can be able to do.
Every aspect of the project is scrutinized to minute details with emphasis on the utilization of local materials as a show of confidence in Nigerian products.
Look at the door there. You see Sinayodo is locally made. When we talk of the material, we bought all our materials here and it's Nigeria made materials.
For the Nigerian worker, the exotic estates may be somewhat out of reach due to the prohibitive pricing by private developers, but there is a silver lining in the sky these days with a special program that ensures a home after years of toil. While the need to make mortgage accessibility a less cumbersome concept and affordable mass housing a given rather than an aspiration, the steps taken in this direction could move the discourse from mere hope to more homes. In Abuja, Fisayo Ogunfuyi, NTA News.
Mere hopes to more homes. Beautiful. The return of Nigeria's annual budget to 12 calendar months implementation period is a stride that must be sustained. Pursuant to that, the Senate has commenced the consideration of the 2021-2023 medium-term expenditure framework and Fiscal Strategy paper. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, says this is in readiness for the presentation of the 2021 appropriation bill by the executive in September. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
A day after President Muhammadu Buhari submitted the 2021 to 2023 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, a vital component for the nation's annual budget, the legislators have referred the financial document to its committees on finance and national planning for scrutiny.
And by this, we are also equally committed to ensuring that we receive the budget estimates at the end of September, and that we're able to consider the budget and get it passed before the end of December to repeat what we did for budget 2020.
The nomination of 1 career and 39 non-career ambassadors were confirmed by the legislators as the nominees from Yobe, Mohammed Yusuf and Peter Ghana from Niger State were stepped down pending the resolution of some issues. The Senate has passed the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act Amendment Bill 2020, which seeks to update laws governing all financial institutions and their services. The Nigerian Railway Corporation Act 2004 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2020 was also passed.
For the introduction of private sector investment and promote competition for the delivery of efficiency of the rail service in Nigeria. Restructure the governing board to manage and implement the policy of the corporation.
Senate approved the report of its Committee on Power, which recommended the urgent need for quality data on the actual numbers of electricity consumers. Senators kicked against its suggestion that government should fund the procurement of meters.
That most Nigerians who are on the network should be metered so that we will avoid this estimated billing, which is highly exploitative.
Anybody telling you government will put 600 billion tomorrow it will be well because they are paying subsidy. Well, in the first place, why did we privatize the companies?
Are subject to, contingent upon, and without prejudice to the outcome of the ordered review of the privatization SPA to be undertaken by the Senate.
If we will be giving these people, these companies, 700 billion, 600 billion, to the tune of over 1.5 trillion at the moment, and this thing is endless, I think the time has come for us to consider this privatization.
5 bills passed first reading. These include the Institute of Information and Communication Technology, Iwo Osun State Establishment Bill, from the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the House Committee on Works has been engaging stakeholders concerning contracts for 3 major road projects. These are the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road, and the Second Niger Bridge. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on the latest meeting with Bureau for Public Procurement.
Bureau for Public Procurement is by law mandated to ensure transparency, fair competition among contractors in bidding for contracts and value for money. It is for these reasons that the committee questioned the issuance of certificates of no objection to Ministry of Works to award the 3 major contracts to a single company.
The DPP needs to explain to us how and why they adopted the modalities used in issuing certificate of no objections.
Very, very important question that has to do and has consequences on the effect of Nigeria.
The Director General of Bureau for Public Procurement, Maman Ahmadu, says he is unhappy about the performance of the contracting firm.
I know the history, that is why I'm giving you the benefit of it. But if you say whether I'm happy, yes, primary school question, answer. I'm not happy, that is why I kept asking questions.
The committee requested him to furnish it with documents. In another development, House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, while holding discussions with a joint delegation of the United Nations and European Union on gender-based violence, says the House will work on the sexual harassment bill forwarded by the Senate.
The issue of sexual-based violence, or rape, if you want to be more specific, is something that is permeated. It's not isolated to Nigeria. But we're in Nigeria now, want to deal with it in Nigeria. But but it's world over. It's a pandemic, and we should deal with it as such.
Gender-based violence is a human rights violation. It's a violation of the rights of women and girls in particular. But we must also remember boys and men can also be exposed to gender-based violence.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating non-implementation of the pay-as-you-go tariff plan and DSTV price hike has directed the NCDC to locate the CEO MultiChoice and establish his health status within 4 days. This follows a letter from the Chief Executive Officer of MultiChoice Nigeria to the committee on his inability to appear before it due to ill health. On his arrival in the country, John Yaku has the details.
The committee had earlier invited MultiChoice Nigeria to appear before it on the 17th July 2020. But in another letter to the committee from MultiChoice, requested to reschedule the hearing for Wednesday, 22nd July 2020. On the second date, MultiChoice again wrote that it will not be able to appear before the committee due to the health condition of its chief executive officer, who arrived the country on Tuesday. Members, after deliberations on the letter, resolved that the Nigerian Center for Disease Control should immediately locate the chief executive officer of MultiChoice, establish his health status, and report back to the committee for further legislative action.
Since he already alluded that he is having cough, he is not feeling well, observing the importance of caution. So I rise to move to second the motion as moved. Those in support of the motion say aye. Aye. Nay. The ayes have it. The motion is hereby sustained, and the clerk to this committee is hereby directed to communicate the decision of this committee to the Director General, NCDC.
The House at plenary on 17th March and 2nd June 2020 mandated the ad hoc committee to investigate non-implementation of pay-as-you-go tariff plan by satellite broadcasters and DSTV subscription price increase in the country. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
In another story, the First Lady Aisha Buhari has commended wives of governors for their advocacy towards addressing the challenge of rape and all kinds of gender-based violence in Nigeria. The First Lady gave the commendation in a message to the two-day 2020 annual forum for wives of governors of the 36 states of the Federation on etiquette, protocol, public speaking and security awareness. And State House correspondent Aliu Kabir has that.
The two-day summit, which was conducted online, focuses on etiquette, protocol, public speaking and security awareness and its impact, especially with the global pandemic of COVID-19. The idea is to equip the spouses of the Nigerian governors with the requisite and necessary skills towards galvanizing support at addressing social vices affecting women, youth and children, especially issues of rape, child abuse and gender-based violence.
We need to speak out, and we need to get victims to speak out. People are saying, and what is happening this day? We hear too many things about gender-based violence, about rape. Was it not happening before? It was happening more than we can ever think of. But now, some of us, your activities have created the enabling environment whereby people are finding it very comfortable to report those perpetuating this act, and the victims also are having the courage, the self-esteem and the confidence to come up and say yes.
You, the wives of the governors, that you are arms in all the states of the Federation, that you are her legs in the state of the Federation, that you can make a serious imprint despite the fact that there is something that is called COVID.
Stakeholders from across the globe deliberated on issues revolving around the theme with a view to enhancing the quality and the scope of the advocacy effort of the participants, as well as their humanitarian activities towards promoting lots of women and children. The program was organized by the Office of the First Lady of Nigeria in collaboration with the UK-based NGO known as CTP International and the Institute of Leadership and Development. The First Lady of Nigeria, alongside the spouses of the governors, were inducted as fellows of the Institute of Leadership and Development. Thereafter, she was decorated as an icon of leadership by the Institute. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
And in the next segment of the news, police rescue 15 children from cruel hands. Imminent closure of 3rd Mainland Bridge already causing headaches in Lagos. Plus, the unfriendly visit of the ocean in Akwa Ibom. Stay with us.
Data plan. All existing Glow customers now enjoy up to 20% more data. Dial *777# to choose a plan. Glow Unlimited.
The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, FNCS, FBCS, FIIM, cordially invites all stakeholders to the virtual commissioning of the following completed projects under the digital economy sector located across the country. Tertiary Institution Knowledge Center, Enugu. The Nigeria Communications Satellite Northwest Regional Office, Kaduna. IT Community Center, Katsina. IT Hub, Kaduna. Information Technology Development Hub, Lagos. Emergency Communications Center, Kaduna. Date: Thursday, 23rd July 2020. Time: 11 a.m. The projects are part of developing digital economy for a digital Nigeria. Announcer: Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy.
Close Up Deep Action with antibacterial formula and deep cleaning gel keeps your teeth clean and protected. Close Up Deep Action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath and more.
Public service announcement from the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Emergency Rehabilitation and Maintenance of 3rd Mainland Bridge, Lagos. The 3rd Mainland Bridge will be closed for maintenance from Friday, July 24, 2020 to Sunday, January 24, 2021. Consequently, the Omoroshoki bound lane will be closed for the first 3 months, while the Lagos Island bound lane will remain open. The bridge will take Omoroshoki to Lagos Island traffic from 12 midnight to 1 p.m. Also from 1 p.m. to 12 midnight, the bridge will take the Lagos Island traffic to Omoroshoki on the Lagos Island bound carriageway. The same process will be replicated on the Lagos Island lane upon completion of repairs of the Omoroshoki lane. Motorists are advised to apply alternative routes from Kata Bridge through Ido, Oyigbo to join Adekule ramp inwards Omoroshoki and from Ijora Olokpa through Western Avenue to Ikorodu Road. We regret all inconveniences this might cause and we urge motorists to be patient and understanding even as adequate traffic control will be in place. Announcer Engineer Olukayode Pupola, Federal Controller, Works, Lagos, on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN.
Improved household hygiene is essential to keep your family safe. Did you know that the sodium hypochlorite, the active ingredient in hypo bleach, is equipped to fight viruses and germs? Add some bleach to water, soak a clean napkin in diluted bleach, and wipe off germs from common contact surfaces. Wipe off with hypo. Disinfect your home with hypo bleach at only 25 naira per sachet.
How did I get here? It all started shortly after I graduated from MSTC, the Model Skills Training Center, with a certificate in ICT. I successfully developed a data management program that has been called the software of the future. Thanks to its success, everyone wants it, and as you can see, now everyone wants me. But I'm not alone. The skills training programs at MSTC are equipping young Nigerians to become the next big success story. Whether it's ICT, mechatronics, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, or Culinary studies. A certificate at MSTC is the way of the future. And just like me,
there he is.
Everyone will want you to.
ITF, developing the nation's human resource. There is a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent, but now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem Soft Gel.
Amatem Soft Gel makes treating malaria easy. Amatem Soft Gel is a game changer.
The opponent is down. Amatem Soft Gel, a good talk about malaria for body.
Available for adults and children. Say no to malaria. Yes to life.
The 15th National Diaspora Day 2020 with the theme Leveraging Diaspora Resources for National Development in a COVID-19 Era. Goodwill messages from His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, Ambassador Zubairu Dada, the Honorable Minister of State, Foreign Affairs, Keynote Speaker Masai Ujiri, President of Operations, Toronto Raptors, Canada. Distinguished and exciting array of panelists and speakers included. Date, Saturday, July 25th, 2020. Time, 2 p.m. Nigeria, UK. For participation, please visit www.diaspora.gov.ng/D-Day. Masters of Ceremony, Sheung Adigun, Mike Edwards. Chief Host, Honorable Abikedabu Erewa. Chairman, CEO, NICOM. Announcer, Engineer Dr. Suli Yakubu Basi.
Welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the recent murder of 5 staff of humanitarian agencies in Borno State who were kidnapped by Boko Haram terrorists. In a statement, President Buhari sympathizes with the families of the 5 aid workers while praying that God will comfort them for their loss. He assures them that his government will continue to do all it can to ensure that every remaining footstep of Boko Haram is wiped out completely from northeastern Nigeria and make the perpetrators of this atrocity face the law. President Buhari also condoles with the State Emergency Management Agency, Action Against Hunger, Reach International and International Rescue Committee, whose staff have suffered this gruesome fate. He thanks them for their continued dedication and service to the victims of Boko Haram in northeastern Nigeria. Still on security, the air component of Operation Hadarin-Daji destroyed a camp of armed bandits in a forest in Zamfara State. The operation also led to the neutralization of some of the fighters. A statement by Coordinator Defense Media Operations, Major General Paul Enenche, says the mission was conducted on the 20th of July 2020, responding to intelligence reports indicating heavy presence of armed bandits along with a large number of rustled livestock in an area of the forest. This was later confirmed by a series of aerial surveillance missions. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has commended the air component of Operation Hadarin-Daji for their professionalism, urging them to be resolute as they conduct the strikes and provide close air support for the ongoing ground operations. And as Nigeria battles the scourge of rape, especially rape of minors, another appalling social ill exposed not too long ago is still going on. That is child abuse and slavery in the name of Sangaya schools. Another of such school has been unmasked in Niger State, with the police parading a 46-year-old perpetrator in Angwangwari, Kwamba Saleja local government area of the state. The proprietor allegedly kept about 15 children in a dehumanizing condition in the guise of imparting Islamic knowledge in them. Mukhtar Abubakar Wogo reports.
Children aged 4 to 10 years were rescued from the suspect's house by the police operatives attached to the A Division Suleja while acting on a tip. The Niger State Police Command, while parading the suspect, says 3 shackles used to tie their legs were recovered and have since handed over the victims to the Niger State Child's Rights Agency.
I flogged and changed the legs of the stubborn ones for sleeping outside the school.
By the physical examination, we discovered that there are bruises on the back, on the body of some of the children, and they are not, they appear to be malnourished.
What is the next line of action as regard the well-being of the children having been handed over to the Child's Rights Agency?
About 4 of them are on a very serious medication. We are praying they will survive it because they are really malnourished. We also intend to prosecute the families of the children because they are also partially responsible for neglect.
What is the Islamic point of view regarding Al-Majri practice involving children?
That system is really corrupted. Even the Malams in the past do not maltreat their children this way. So what is happening this way, of course, is a different thing entirely. Those who go to seek for knowledge, of course, they must be matured and then there must be welfare for them. However, since the system have come probably to stay in the north here, sometimes doing away with it might be very difficult. I think the government need to come in.
So that situation is wickedness. You see, it's wickedness to for an innocent child to be punished. Islam totally prohibits anything that has to do with inflicting harm, especially to the innocent. So I want to say that those kind of people that are doing that, either that they lack proper training of Islam or they have some motives behind them. But as far as Islam is concerned, people have abandoned responsibilities from parent to the society and to the government, and that is why we have this mess we call Al-Majri.
This happened at the time when the state government is transferring the Al-Majris to their various states of origin for fear of contracting COVID-19. In Mina, Mukhtar Abubakaru, NTA News.
And from Mina, we'll take you to Lagos, where it is just 1 day to go before the partial closure of the third mainland bridge, and already Lagos residents are having a hard time navigating the road. Dr. Ogunyemi visited some parts of the city and observed that this is due to the ongoing rehabilitation works on the designated alternative routes.
It is another day of dealing with hectic traffic in Lagos, and while the third mainland bridge is just a few days away from being closed, motorists who are currently plying this road in Kostain say that urgent action needs to be taken, as well as the development of traffic management plan to avoid a chaotic situation.
We just want to apply the government to at least help us to ease the traffic in this environment, because everywhere is totally blocked up.
The repair work carried out at this spot at Ijora has been completed by the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, with others also being carried out by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, as well as the state government.
This is one of the interventions being carried out by FEMA in some of the alternative routes. Where we are now, this is Kostain Road to Apapa. By tomorrow, you are going to see them putting the asphalt on top of this section where we are now.
And while the attention is on the imminent closure of the third mainland bridge for repairs, other bridges within the state that have been partially shut are also undergoing repairs. They include Eco Bridge and the Marine Beach Bridge, with the replacement of bearings and expansion joints.
The project it goes from here to Levantis, but for the phase 1 we are changing only 160 bearings, which means this side and about 2 sections from the other side.
While the effect of traffic continues to bite hard, motorists have appealed to government to address the issue of articulated vehicles parked indiscriminately along roads when the third mainland bridge is finally closed. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the unending tale of Apapa gridlock is resurfacing and invariably affecting trade and investment at Nigeria's largest seaports. Michael Olale visited this very busy corridor and reports that the patience of truck drivers is running out due to weeks of continuous queues.
Like the proverbial stillborn, which misportrayed the genuineness of the herbalist,
traffic gridlock in Apapa has continued to defy solutions. On a day like this, traffic is intense as usual, but a crave for daily bread will not disenchant business owners from plying these routes.
There's a syndicate making money from this problem, and until government gets to the root of it, nothing is going to work in Apapa.
This blaring of the horn is a sign of frustration, the type of depression that this truck driver has succumbed to. And while the queue continues to move in inches, he is fast asleep. Adekunle Taiwo is awake but cannot move beyond these points. While expressing his frustration, a truck forcefully joined the queue under the glaring eyes of security agents and enforcement team.
All this our police and the last man, the way they are doing, they will let us to say, park the motor, immediately they park their motor, they still arrest us again. Carry us to the station, collecting their money from our hand.
Truck drivers are not the only one feeling the heat. Freight forwarders are counting the cost.
To load a single container, a 40-foot container at mid-maritime now, that's in Tinkan, it will cost you like 900,000. Ordinarily, that's what we'll spend only 350,000 naira to do. And it's not helping business. It's not even helping the economy.
The Nigerian Shippers Council, aside reactivating cargo evacuation through rail, is working on the completion of the $94 million dry seaport in Ibadan to further ease congestion in the ports.
I hope by March or second quarter of next year, we'll have a port where it is not necessary for people to be there, to have physical presence, including the security agencies. That means we transact all our business online, and that will reduce drastically, the issue of extortion and corruption.
While port users await interventions that will reduce the effects of the gridlock, the timely completion of the Marine Beach Bridge, others say, is crucial to easing the pains. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Now, vehicle license expiration, overtaking, use of cell phones while driving, overloading and drunk driving are among the 37 road traffic offences officers of the Federal Road Safety Corps have to deal with daily. In a quest to understand the workings of the agency, Cecil Egbele took on the duty of a road safety marshal, and though she ended the day with a headache, she says it is not a job for the lazy.
A day with the patrol team starts at 6 a.m. after a briefing. My first posting for patrol is close to Barnes Junction in Abuja.
Can I see your driver's license, please?
Not all the offenders can be arrested. It's like the same thing with criminality. Not all the criminals can be arrested, but the one that is arrested can be made to be an example for others.
All right, so this is me acting as road marshal, and well, try my hands on it. I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far.
If with your discretionary powers, if you arrest somebody, again, you can stop, caution, and book, or you can stop and caution to go. But when a patrol team now stops you and the man has made up his mind to book you, that's what we call the 4-point approach: the persuasion, the education, the subtle enforcement and enforcement. These 4 attributes is applied simultaneously with fraction of a second.
We can ask you to go and pay, or we might decide to take you to mobile court for prosecution. So as a patrol team stops you, any of these 4 approach system could be applied.
There are 5 primary offences for which a motorist will be issued a ticket. These are use of phone, route violation or one-way, traffic light violation, dangerous or speed driving, and overloading. Pulling over a vehicle, the Federal Road Safety official must always remain courteous, even in the most infuriating circumstances.
Then a photocopy of your proof of ownership, not the original, the photocopy. You must present all this. And again, you don't need to present the originals of all these vehicles, but your driver's license, the original must be presented.
While on duty, I encountered this motorist with an expired learner's permit. I then educated him on the process of getting a driver's license.
I have a driver's license, maybe for fresh. He must have gone to a driving school where he had 26 contacts in that driving school before coming here. This is the officer in charge of the driver's license center who tests drivers and approve. This is where we do the capture. So that's the temporary license that has been produced. Everything has been put in place to get these licenses done within 2 weeks. You will have your permanent license.
My last assignment for the day is the Powerhouse Junction, one of the major routes for travelers returning from work within the FCT.
Your temporary license should be ready. Why have you not gone to pick it up?
They have not called me or sent it up.
Driving on the streets of the FCT can be, an interesting one, but running into officers of the Federal Road Safety Corps can end in either of two ways. It could be, thank you very much for your time and have a safe trip, or it could be stories and explanations. I'm a special marshal today, and together with my patrol team here in the FCT at the Powerhouse Junction, we are set to keep our roads safe. So let's go get some job done.
It's been a tiring day for me. It was a good experience being a road marshal. And though I hope to do this again, a good rest for now is all I need. Cecile Egbele, NTA News.
Well done, Cecil, our NTA Road Marshal. Very interesting and also educating one there. For the people of Iwoachang community in Ibeno local government area of Akwa Ibom State, the persistent ocean surge, especially this rainy season, is posing serious threat to lives and property as the surge is almost consuming the community. Edidiong Iba, who visited the community, reports that the people are calling for the construction of an embankment to stem the tides.
Fia Daniel has lived in Iwoachang community all his life, and for the number of years he has lived here, he has watched himself and other members of his community suffer the devastating effects of the ocean surge. He says series of appeals to the federal government resulted in the award of the construction of an embankment in 2004 by Federal Government Interventionist Agency, the NDDC. While work started and the old embankment was being removed, the people's hopes soared, but not for long, however, as their hopes were dashed when the construction company packed up and left the site on reasons not known to the community.
The contractors always come and start from somewhere, then at the end of the day, the contract was abandoned. There is a company called Spring Engineering. I think that was till 2004 or so.
They came last time for impact assessment, and up till now, nothing has been done.
More worrisome is the fact that the community is at the risk of being washed away by the ocean due to lack of embankment along the shoreline, and this has brought untold socioeconomic hardship. This is usually what happens in the cool of the evenings, especially during the rainy season, where the water comes up into the communities, destroying houses and other property. And this, the community members say, is due largely to the absence of an embankment here and, of course, lack of proper drainage pattern.
When the water will flow heavily, it will enter people's compound.
So if this water full, nobody go fit pass here.
Until then, life as they have always known it goes on. From Iwoachang community in Ibano local government area of Akwa Ibom State, Edidiong Iba, NTA News.
We'll take you to Kano now. Do you remember Zainab Aliyu and her close shave with death as victims of a drug cartel at the Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano? Well, she has bounced back with her success story after the near-tragic event. And Fatima Sanusik Arai is standing by to give us an update on this promising young Nigerian.
I even hope for the nearest future to employ some people to be working under me.
That was Zainab Aliyu, a young Nigerian student that was almost executed in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for drug-related offense that she did not commit. Today, Zainab is free and among the National Youth Service Corps members who completed their youth service this year. Holding her certificate, her happiness cannot be hidden. Zainab Aliyu and other passenger unrelated to her, Ibrahim Abubakar, were arrested by Saudi security officials on the 26th December 2018 on their way to perform Lesser Hajj following the discovery of 2 different bags containing illicit drugs, purportedly bearing tags with their names, and they were incarcerated for 4 months. Investigation by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Kano later revealed that it was a high-level conspiracy by drug cartel at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, who specialize in planting drugs on innocent travelers without their knowledge. Due to quick intervention and diplomatic efforts by the federal government, Zainab and Ibrahim were released and arrived Nigeria on May 13, 2019. Although the 6 persons responsible for planting the drugs in their luggage were arraigned and charged in the court of law, they are moving freely, enjoying the air of freedom as they await trial.
By the power vested in the court by virtue of Section 35 of the Constitution, and also Section 158 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, a judge has a right to grant bail because drug offences are bailable. So far, a date has not been fixed for the continuation of hearings.
I just hope that the justice doesn't fail me.
While she awaits justice, Zainab is starting her own business. She is a skilled pastry baker and bakes anything that comes her way. As Zainab is trying to put her almost shattered life back together, she said she is focused on being an employer of labor herself. But in the back of her mind, she is praying for those that almost ruined her life to get the punishment they so dearly deserve. Zainab, any message for Nigerians?
Thank you, Nigerians, for giving me back my life again. Now I can smile.
Indeed, Zainab is smiling. In Kano, Fatima Sanusi Garai, NTA News.
And keep smiling, Zainab. We wish you well. The Sultan of Sokoto and President General Nigeria's Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, has declared Friday, 31st July 2020, as the 10th of Zulhijjah 1441, as the day of Eid al-Kabir. This was contained in a statement signed by the Wazir in Sokoto and Chairman Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council, Sokoto. The Sultan advised Muslim communities throughout the country to observe Eid prayers at their Jumu'at mosque and not the Eid grounds to further curb the spread of COVID-19. Sultan Saad Abubakar felicitates with the Muslim Ummah, urging them to continue to pray for peace, progress and development of the country. We'll now take a short break. When we return, cash crops, handshakes and smiles, plus something about fertilizers that is not fertilizing. We will connect the dots shortly. Please stay with us.
As I talk to you plenty, Nana, because I get glue too, and make me talk. Please, I be not be so. All right. Don't be say I won't talk plenty. Una no self say not dey lie. You see this glow? If you get them, una no go even Nana go just they talk they go because it's not there.
Enjoy international calls from as low as 40 kobo per second from Nigeria to the world. Call your loved ones today.
Thank you, my sister. You do well, eh?
Glow Unlimited.
Close Up Deep Action with antibacterial formula and deep cleaning gel keeps your teeth clean and protected. Close Up Deep Action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath and more.
Win a Samsung home makeover worth 1.5 million naira weekly. Wow! In the Samsung Smile Nigeria promo, daily prizes of Samsung TVs, refrigerators, smart wristwatches, and other exciting prizes also to be won. Buy any of the Samsung smartphones or electronics to stand a chance to win. Promo runs from July 15th to August 5th, 2020. Hurry now while stocks last. Terms and conditions apply.
Period pain may stop you at the worst time. Don't let period pain hold you back from being your best. Panadol Extra, effective relief from period pain.
We don't wait tired.
Now it don't shell oh. See as then they go to the left, to the right. The defender stand up for ground. Go fight to conquer. Plenty things full ground for you. It's not the sweepers like this oh. No feeling be like this at all. Conquer excitement inside football action. Live sports for GoTV. Enjoyment not in sweet pass to watch. Connect live action for La Liga, Serie A, Premier League, and WWE. As the hot, it don't settle. Get GoTV today for 9,200 naira. Where they come with 1 month GoTV Max subscription to enjoy correct sports with the super sports. GoTV. Live it, love it.
Thank you so much for staying with News Extra. The House of Representatives has restated its determination to ensure restoration of effective service delivery in the power sector for economic development. House Leader Al-Hassan Ado Dogua, who is also chairman of the ad hoc committee, is set up to investigate challenges in the sector towards a holistic review, says agencies of government that are major stakeholders should cooperate with the National Assembly in view of the critical role of the sector to industrial growth. He was speaking against the backdrop of the failure of the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to appear before the committee for submissions. This is despite invitation by the committee to the CBN in order to access documents on payments, debts and investment of government in the sector.
And we had the same problem. The Minister of Finance was there, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry. Made some cases, made issues, tendered issues, very critical issues, that would have been ordinarily cleared if the Central Bank Governor was there. Here we are today. The Central Bank Governor decided to disregard this institution, disregard this committee, not to turn up and not to send any other person to come here in his own capacity, on his behalf. And here is the Accountant General of the Federation giving us answers that succinctly mean our questions can only be targeted to the Central Bank Governor.
The Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, appeared before the committee Wednesday and made submissions. The Debt Management Office was also at the investigative hearing. And a bit on agriculture. Nigeria is among the world's largest producers of cash crops such as cashew, cocoa, ginger and shea nuts. The country, however, is lagging behind in the global business of the commodities. This is based on the poor handling, management, market strategy and storage, among other challenges. To this end, the World Bank and the federal government are joining forces to ensure that Nigeria agricultural outputs are accepted at the international markets. Musa Baba Ali has the details.
It is Port Harcourt, the River State capital, the treasure base of the nation. Though one can hear the sounds of movement of vehicles and their horns, the city is, however, a quiet place where one can discuss business in all aspects of the economy, including agriculture.
And this is one of the reasons why government officials executing World Bank and federal government intervention agricultural projects, codenamed appeals, are in the city for a project facilitators training workshop. The World Bank and federal government intervention program is out to address and improve production of cash crops, vegetables, livestock and poultry in 6 states.
The project has also documented a total of 55 business alliances for off-takers and outgrowers across the 9 value chains. In addition, A total of 64 different technologies have been demonstrated to our farmers across the participating states.
And that is why some of the technologies we demonstrated to farmers, we supported them with improved rice variety, adequate NPK.
A peace project in Kogi State, supporting both farmers that are into production, we are supporting those that are into processing, and we're supporting those that are into marketing.
It's supporting quite a number of farmers in new technologies. We have the nipple-fitted drinkers and pelletized feed for our poultry farmers.
The Agro-Processing Productivity Enhancement and Livelihood Improvement Support Project is targeting 60,000 individuals as direct beneficiaries, 10,000 beneficiaries per state, and 300,000 farmhold members as direct beneficiaries. In Port Harcourt, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Federal government's sustainable approach in reviving and improving agriculture as a major vehicle for economic diversification is yielding fruitful impact with capacity to absorb post-COVID-19 shocks. Guests on NTA's Tuesday Live underscored various interventions to encourage surplus production and sustained quality output as key in realizing an employable and export agricultural sector. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Recovery and growth plan of the federal government is heavily dependent on the agriculture sector, with utilization of its potential for rapid economic development of the country. And in line with federal government diversification agenda, the agriculture sector remains a major beneficiary towards sustaining the policy through massive interventions and incentives to increase participation in farming activities.
And in 2020, because of the COVID, President decided to drop the fertilizer price to a factory price of 4,500 and a farm gate price of 5,000, and that has helped greatly to support the farmers.
In the ANCO policy, all the guidelines, all the requirements, all the conditions are there, and it is a due diligence program. CBN are very strict on following all their conditions.
Guests on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live opined that production for domestic consumption and exports is steadily increasing despite setbacks occasioned by incessant herders and farmers' crisis, banditry, insurgency, and the novel coronavirus pandemic. On the ban of importation and closure of borders, experts maintained that the decision has encouraged sustainable generation of viable economic activities around the agricultural value chain.
Confidence has been restored and is daily being enhanced by the great policy framework, the transparency in the system, which is Mr. President has been very vigilant about.
For you to produce, you must go back to farm. So based on that, we are engaging all stakeholders, institutions, corporate bodies, individuals, to get to land that they have not been using, that have been lying fallow.
The continuous effort to fully migrate to mechanized farming system and provide a ready market for uptakers is another critical component that may require stakeholders to make further push in exploring maximum benefits in the sector. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development says it has received complaints of non-payment of some NPAR beneficiaries during the last exercise, with some alleging non-payment for upward of 4 months. The ministry, while acknowledging the development, says out of a total 516,600 NPAR beneficiaries data sent to the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, which credits the accounts of the beneficiaries, it was discovered that accounts of 14,020 beneficiaries already exist in other MDAs, which is against the established rules of the NPAR program. The minister, Sadia Umar Farouk, while regretting inconveniences this might cause genuine and eligible beneficiaries, assures that the Accountant General Office is working to remedy the situation. And 10 states have been selected to kickstart the first phase of implementation of the Partnership for Expanded Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene, PWASH, a component of the National Action Plan to turn around the water sanitation and hygiene subsector. In case your state is not among the 10 in this report, it means the state government has to do more to meet the criteria for selection, as the federal government incentivize the sub-national governments towards attainment of the Sustainable Development Agenda. And Muswaud and Wahab tells us about PWASH and its targets.
The yearning increases, so too is the deficit of access to safe water and improved sanitation. Facilities are breaking down with no adequate replacements.
A lot of places where you see abandoned boreholes, they must have been built by the federal government. And some states have actually abdicated the entire responsibility of providing, especially rural water supply, to the federal government.
One of the mechanisms for that change is the Partnership for Expanded Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene, PWASH, launched in 2016 by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo to address water and sanitation challenges at the grassroots. 3 years on, the pilot project has been completed with more than 700 water supply schemes carried out in Kano and Ogun State between 2018 and 2019.
Any local government we take, we want to be sure that they don't lack access to water. So those 4 local government covered in Ogun State, and as well as the 4 we covered in Kano State, now are enjoying the potable water supply.
With the exception of Adamawa, Borno, Rivers, and the FCT, all other states of the Federation have signed up to the PWASH protocol, while 10 states that have met the criteria have been selected for the first phase of the program.
Pilot phase, there was not a sanitation component. But in this first phase now, it's going to go pari passu. That means as we are providing access to water supply, we are also increasing access to sanitation facilities, especially in the public areas.
So PWASH is meant to incentivize the states, number one, for them to prioritize water and sanitation, to take it as top priority. And when they take it as top priority, it means they will invest more money. So that they plan adequately for the people and work towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals target.
We have that very high level political commitment and willingness at the national level. However, do we have a commensurate level of political will at the state level? This is where we have the challenge.
Several national and international targets on water and sanitation are fast approaching, and Nigeria's government says it is throwing everything at it to meet the targets and ultimately the yearnings of the citizenry. In Abuja, Musbal, then Wahab, NTA News.
To many people, NPK, otherwise known as fertilizer, is a raw material for agricultural purposes. One thing that many people are not aware of is that it is also used for the production of explosives. This perhaps informs the seizure of 800 bags worth 12 million naira by the Oyo Osun Command of the Nigerian Customs Service. Shola Wahid completes the report.
We have expected that fertilizers are mainly used for agricultural produce, but security experts say they can also be used for explosives, a situation that can create security challenges for the nation.
There's insecurity, the situation we have now in the country, there is no way we will allow such.
Apart from the seizure of the fertilizers without end user certificate, other confiscated items include 500 drums of 100 litre each of premium motor spirits petrol, 320 kegs of 25 litre each of PMS, 340 compressed blocks of cannabis, 84 bales of second-hand clothing materials, 480 units of used tires, 2,054 bags of 50 kg each of foreign parboiled rice, and 10 units of means of conveying the items. A total number of 48 seizures with 41 detentions were made within the month in review.
It has been a difficult time for the nation, but in the midst of this, there are some unscrupulous elements who are still trying to derail the efforts of the service in meeting up to its targets. And we have been dealing with them decisively.
Comptroller Ngozi Uche explained that despite the effect of the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the command has continued to achieve success over previous years. She appreciated the support of Comptroller General and officers of the command for implementing policies that help the command to function effectively, while warning smugglers to desist from illicit activities or face the full wrath of the law. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
Broadcast equipment, computers, documents and other valuables were lost to the inferno that gutted some offices of the Nigerian Television Authority NTA Ilorin in the wee hours of Tuesday, and Kende Omolosho reports that 3 main departments were affected by the fire.
The cause of the fire, which was reported to have started at about 11 p.m. Tuesday night, could not be ascertained. Offices of the General Manager, Marketing Department, and Manager News and Current Affairs were destroyed by the inferno. Men of the fire service and some staff of the station were at their best to put out the fire. The fire was eventually put under control after about 3 hours of battling with it. Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, accompanied by the Commissioner for Works and Transport, Rotimi Ilyasu, was an early caller at the station for an on-the-spot assessment of the level of damage caused by the inferno.
It is shocking and disappointing and can be considered unfortunate.
With this happenstance, it will set us back.
Manager News and Current Affairs, Yemi Akintunde, is sad that valuable information and records have been lost to the fire.
For now, nobody can actually estimate, the news library is burnt.
No life was lost to the fire outbreak. The cause of the fire could not be ascertained as at the time of filing in this report, but the Office of the General Manager, the Conference Room, Marketing Office, and the Office of the Manager News and Current Affairs were engulfed completely by the fire. Valuables like cameras, secret files, and others were lost to the inferno. Kende Omolosho, NTA News.
Sure, a sad one for us there. Let's take another breather. Just ahead, the locomotive gets set to hoot again. Plus, the National Theatre literally back on center stage. Stay close.
The house has its own rules. But in this house, rules can be deceiving. Follow them, bend them, break them, make them. The house can't win if you beat it at its own game. Play your cards right. Be heard. Be seen. Change perception. Expose the players. Reveal the drama, the passion, the charm, the deceit. All eyes are on you, but keep your eye on the prize. Run the risk. Take the house. Only one king or queen will ace the game on Big Brother Naija. Season 5 starts 19th of July, 7 p.m. on DSTV Channel 198 and GoTV Channel 29. Headline sponsor, Betway. Gold sponsor, Guinness. Rated 18.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
She cried. She cried in anguish and in pain. She bears the scourge of her grief. She toils in vain for justice and succumbs to silence. He gloats over his malady. Like a beast, he pounces with no remorse. Her cry meant nothing. Her pain feeds her shame. like an orphan, she is left to grieve in solitude. But no more will she cry in vain. Her adversaries will henceforth bear the brunt of their bestiality. Rape is evil. Rape is a plague, a pandemic of monumental consequences. We must unite and kick it out of our society.
Connect with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Good to know you're still with us. The World Health Organization and the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention inaugurates a COVID-19 Traditional Remedy Committee, and Brazilian president tests positive for COVID-19 for the third time. Joyce Ometu gives us a global update on the pandemic.
U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that the COVID-19 pandemic is going to get worse before it gets better, and has instructed Americans to wear face masks to stop the spread. Still in the U.S., 13 nuns at a Roman Catholic convent have died of coronavirus since the country's outbreak. Reports say the deaths may be the worst loss of life to a community of religious women since the 1918 influenza pandemic. Meanwhile, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has had another positive result for COVID-19 in the third test he has taken since falling ill on July 7. A Secretariat of Communications Ministry in a statement said President Bolsonaro is still in good condition. In the meantime, the World Health Organization and the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are collaborating to enhance research and development of traditional medicines for COVID-19 in Africa. The Regional Experts Committee on Traditional Medicine for COVID-19 will support countries in collaborative efforts to conduct clinical trials of traditional medicines in compliance with international standards. Meanwhile, the world has surpassed 15 million cases of coronavirus. Record by Worldometer as at 6 p.m. local time indicates that there are now 15,189,920 cases, with 621,986 mortalities. Out of these numbers, Africa accounts for 755,894 cases, 15,811 deaths. Nigeria has registered 37,801 cases, 15,677 discharged, and 805 fatalities recorded. And that's a global update on COVID-19. I am Joyce Ometu.
New normal is a phrase popularized by COVID-19. It is trending across sectors in Nigeria as the health advisory to address coronavirus, with transport inclusive, though the rail system in the country is still shut down. Oluseye Adiagbo tells the story of how operators are getting set for the new normal in the event of a reopening.
At the coming of COVID-19 in Nigeria, sectors across the country's economic value chain went into phases of lockdown. The rail transport system was not an exception. With time came the easing of lockdown with associated measures and guidelines. As for the transportation sector, the guidelines were strictly given the social distance clause and vulnerabilities of passengers. Sometimes around June, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, on his Twitter handle maintained that there is no hurry in the reopening of the train operations, and in preparation for the eventual reopening of train services across the country, managers of Nigeria rail system are confident that the sector will operate in total compliance with health advisory in accordance to COVID-19 guidelines.
The Nigerian Rail Corporation, we are sending our proposed protocol. Maybe after approval, it will take us about 2 weeks to come back to operations, because we don't want to make the mistake.
And then we have developed a plan
that we de-emphasize as much as possible stay of passengers in the lounge. It's just when you come, you go straight to the platform and the train is ready.
And to demonstrate its precautionary principle, provision for hand washing, thermometer for temperature check, and hand sanitizers were seen on ground, at the stations, and even inside the trains. Passenger spots have also been marked to maintain physical distance policy, and since there will be a reduction in the number of passengers per coach in line with the COVID-19 guidelines, plans are on the way to increase the number of coaches across the country. The minister, however, cautioned that this procedure and measures will attract extra charges for passengers.
But the first thing we put in place, which we were waiting for approval, is that the cost of transportation from Kaduna to Abuja will double, because each coach takes 88 passengers. We'll reduce it to 40. The implication is that the price will increase, but we need to talk with the president before we move on with that.
While Nigerians look forward to the reopening of the train services across the country, which of course is subject to clearance from relevant authorities, stakeholders are optimistic that the Nigerian railway service will assume its pride of place as the preferred choice of transportation for many Nigerians. Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Editorial cartoonists make significant impact behind the scene with stories captured in caricature. Abdullahi Mohammed in this report delves into the affairs of one, unraveling new dimensions of storytelling through cartoons.
Headlines on national dailies like this one, a lookout for millions of readers. But there are some who have made it a point of duty over the years to have special interest in something that comes out at the back of the newspaper, like this one. Comical, satirical, yet an influential medium where global agendas are set, policies influenced, with societal ills put on the front burner. All through the hands of an artist whose works are not meant to be hanged at a museum or arts exhibition center. This is the world of editorial cartoonists, where the big players have won Pulitzer Prize. Aside from the likes of Dele Jegede, Josia Jiboye of the then Sunday Times, who came so unconquered in the annals of history of editorial cartoon in Nigeria, the 21st century editorial cartoonists have more options and platforms to pass their messages. Bent on having a taste of a day in the life of an editorial cartoonist in Nigeria today, I followed Mustafa Bulama, and saying goodbye to his little son was full of emotions. Arriving at his office, he quickly began to sketch on his laptop computer, and within an hour he had come up with a piece of art which portrays the energy committed to the fight against corruption.
I tried to make my cartoon really balanced. I'm not pro any political party or any individual per se. No, I'm just looking at the issues. So sometimes my cartoons may be positive as far as government is concerned. They may see it as something that, favors them, right? Other times it will be critical of the government, and so on. So it doesn't matter to me. The point is, what is the problem? Let's talk about the problem. Let's solve the problem.
With thousands of followers on the various social media platforms, a click on his computer is enough to pass the message. And through the platforms, reactions to the messages are generated, debate ensued, and solutions are found. Mustafa Bulama may not be the only cartoonist making headlines on a national newspaper, but plenty others are trying to shape the destiny of an aspiring nation. A nation where his son Farhan hopes to keep the flag of the profession flying. In Kaduna, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Now keep up the good work, Mustafa. Now, the National Arts Theatre is a symbolic monument for performing arts and other forms of entertainment in Nigeria. Following years of neglect, the theatre lost its glory. It was therefore a revolutionary move when the Bankers Committee, under the supervision of the Central Bank of Nigeria, took over the management of the historic asset for rehabilitation. Abolade Salami reports on the past, present and future of the center.
Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, takes pride in its artistry and cultural diversity. It was to further elevate performing arts among nations of the continent that the National Arts Theatre was conceived and constructed in 1976. A year after its inauguration, the magnificent structure hosted Africa's best and finest, who converged on Lagos for the epic Festac 77. The beauty of the auditorium was complemented by local and foreign performance, as well as teeming audiences. Photo of the Coliseum circulated in the mass media long after the festival. However, as the years went by, its beauty began to fade, just as attendance diminished, until it became just a visible memory.
National Theatre has remained what it was in the late 80s till now. Nobody has put a kobo to maintain this place, this iconic facility. Nobody has done anything about it. And suddenly something very marvelous is coming to happen in our time, where National Theatre is going to be taken to a new height. What could be better than this? Nothing could be better than this.
Resuscitating the National Arts Theatre has been the dream of successive administrations. Although proposals and efforts were made towards achieving this plan, none restored the dignity of the edifice. For a lasting solution, the present administration has taken the bull by the horn.
This public-private partnership is a win-win for all. It restores this iconic edifice to its glory days, which we would have been able to do on our own, and it develops the land that has been lying fallow over 4 decades.
Towards the realization of this objective, the CBN and Bankers Committee intend to support this venture for the redevelopment and transformation of this National Arts Theatre with over 25 billion naira of its initial funding.
Performing artists are excited and appreciative of the federal government's passion for the industry, which they note inspired the resuscitation of the famous entertainment citadel.
This present day and present time that the federal government and the Lagos state government with the CBN and the Bankers Committee are looking towards that direction, it's a welcome idea. A very big, I'll call it a very big development in the right direction.
Going by the blueprints, the National Arts Theatre will be relaunched in 18 months. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
And now to sports. History was made on Tuesday in Nigerian Professional Football League as the management of Rangers International Football Club of Enugu fulfilled the insurance claims of her late player, Ifeanyi George.
Government says it is committed to the restoration of stadia across the nation so as to return them to their earlier glories as well as meeting FIFA standards. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Gabriel Aduda, disclosed this when he received the report of Ministerial Task Force on National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos. Aduda said the report will be thoroughly scrutinized and implemented to bring joy and satisfaction to all sports-loving Nigerians. Meanwhile, encomiums have continued to pour in for former Nigeria international Emmanuel Ndubisi Egbo, who has become the first Nigerian and African to lead a European club to a top-tier domestic title.
Most of these coaches here believe that because they are black or because they are African, they can't go there and perform and compete with their counterparts in Europe. But with what this guy has done right now, it will re-energize the belief in most of our coaches that we can go there and compete with the white guys, we can go there and compete with the Europeans, and we are as good as them.
In their congratulatory messages, NFF General Secretary Mohammed Sanusi praised Egbo for the feat and expressed the view that the coach has laid down a marker for fellow Nigerian coaches to learn from. With few matches left in the Albanian top flight, KF Tirana is guaranteed the title as well as UEFA Champions League slots. In basketball, Nigeria's Ike Diogo and Farouk Aminu are among top 10 named in FIBA Africa Players of the Decade list in the first category of names released by FIBA. The The selection was based on their impact at club and national teams, participation at FIBA competitions, which ran from 2010 to 2020. The second list of 5 names will be released soon, with other Nigerian stars expected to make it. Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
First Lady Mrs. Aisha Buhari has extended her condolences to Mrs. Hawa Isa Funtua, children and family members of late Malam Ismaila Isa Funtua. The First Lady said the dearly departed would be remembered for his maturity and support for women politicians. She prayed God to grant his family the fortitude to bear the loss. Similarly, the All Progressives Congress Governors Forum extended condolences to the President, the government and people of Katsina State over the death of Malam Isa Funtua. The forum, though its chairman, Governor Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, described Malam Funtua's demise as a great loss to the business community and the nation at large. Still on a sad one, the death has occurred of Professor Lovett Lawson, the founder of Zankli Hospital, Abuja. Professor Lawson died of complications from coronavirus, which he contracted in the line of duty. He was 71. He was a professor of clinical tropical medicine at Bingham University, Karu, Nasarawa State, a fellow of the Royal College of Physicians, Edinburgh. Professor Lawson contributed to setting up in Abuja the treatment program for tuberculosis called TB Dots. He is survived by his wife, Dr. Ulufunke, 3 sons and 4 grandchildren, among others. The death has been announced of Mrs. Abigail Moses. She was aged 84. Mrs. Moses will be buried on the 25th of July in her hometown, Ayetoru, Bedi, Ijumo local government area of Kogi State. And let's take a message. And with the message, we conclude the News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for being part of the news. Join us again next week. I am Fatima Umar Ruba. Enjoy the rest of your night.